This week we're talking about our spiritual tribe, whether we have one or whether or not we would like to be a part of one. Now, having a spiritual tribe to me doesn't limit it into like a square box that says it has to be a physical person. So I have multiple areas where I consider my tribe. One of the areas being metaphysical, the other area being physical, and then obviously the physical. So for the metaphysical, I am talking about like crystals, specifically crystals because, you know, I buy crystals, I feel their energy, and they call to me. Now, just because they call to me at one point doesn't mean that I necessarily have to work with them at that time. So like, for instance, I have this fluorite, and I was having a bit of anxiety the first time that I did my video for starting out solitary, and I hadn't seen this in probably a year. And I found this, it was literally just on my desk, and I picked it up and I was immediately like soothed. Like it felt really, really good. So crystals for me are a part of my tribe. They're a part of my collective consciousness when I'm talking about what makes up my tribe. They're definitely something that I go to all the time. They pop up in my life at the most interesting times, and I know that I have to work with them. I speak to my crystals. I sleep with my crystals. There are some crystals that I have in my purse, some of them at work, at home. So this would definitely be one aspect of my spiritual tribe. Now, as far as like the actual spiritual, like the essence, the energy, it would have to be my great-grandmother and my grandmother. And I didn't know my great-great-grandmother very well. She passed way long time ago. However, I have a strong tie, especially to my great-grandmother, because she lived for a really, 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 really long time. And my grandmother. So I speak to these women on a daily. Like, we have conversations. I really believe in ancestor work. I believe that they're here to help me and guide me spiritually, emotionally, and it's nice to have that, you know, when I'm laying down in bed, or if I'm meditating, or if I'm just having one of those days at work, you know, I'll just, you know, flip back in my mind and say, you know what, can you guys help me? Like, I'm having a rough day. And it just seems to work. It feels like my messages get through, and invariably there's some magical way that there's a message that's sent to me. So I know they're definitely part of my spiritual tribe. Now, in the physical world, I would say my mother, because a lot of the stories come from her via word of mouth. So that's where I get the connection with my ancestors, in the storytelling sense. Now, as far as like YouTube, I definitely have followed people for quite a while, and I wouldn't consider them part of my spiritual tribe because, like, we don't know each other. I know it's so weird, like YouTube. We don't know each other, but we know each other, right? So there are definitely people that I look to and really respect for their individuality, their eccentricity, their commitment to themselves and their beliefs. I absolutely respect that. Now, I've said before that there are definitely other people that aren't necessarily witchy and aren't necessarily alive, like Salvador Dali. I talk about him a lot. But I think he's like completely magical. So I don't limit it to like the physical sense. Like, I may not know you on YouTube, but we have a connection. There's something there. There's something that comes through on camera that makes you feel like, oh, wow, you know, I can totally dig that. That is totally right up my alley. So as far as my tribe, I would say it's an eclectic mix. Now, as far as physical people outside of my immediate family or my family in general, I don't really have like a tribe, so to say. I'm pretty much a loner in the sense that I'm an empath. So I have to be very careful with other people's energies. It's really, really draining for me. And it's also, it's difficult, at least for me. I mean, I live in a very rural area, so it's very difficult for me to find people that are like-minded. I search, believe me. So I'm still building up my tribe. There's a woman that I met on Facebook who I adore, absolutely adore. We're like soul sisters. So I would consider her one of my folks in my spiritual tribe. But I think it takes time. I think it's not something that you can, at least for me, it's not something that I can personally say, you know, even if you're my friend, there's a different connection when we're talking about spirituality. There's a different connection when we're talking about a tribe. So it's similar to like my crystals. They come at opportune moments, sometimes inopportune moments, and I don't understand why they're here. Like, I just found solidite. I don't even remember buying solidite. And it kept reappearing. And I'm like, why is this reappearing? Why is this reappearing? And then I just looked it up and it's like, oh, that's why you're appearing. I need to work with you. So like these crystals, like my ancestors, it really is about getting to know them, harnessing the energy, the wisdom, the interconnectedness that each of these physical matters, energy, or like a physical thing or being has to you and what that means to you in order to make up your tribe. So I wouldn't say I necessarily have a tribe in the sense that everybody knows each other and we like hang out and paint each other's nails, although I would love that. But there are definitely people in my life that I go to for advice, whether they be here or not here, whether they be like physical beings or a rock, or a crystal. There are definitely people that I go to talk to. Now, that being said, you know, the latter part of the question is, would you like to be in one? Like, if there was an actual tribe, would I like to be in it? I don't know. I don't know. It would freak me out if like I would have to get to know all these people at once. I'd like small groups. If it was like maybe a small group like this, like starting out solitary, I was like, yeah, you know, that's why I watch the videos, because it's not overwhelming. And I just, that's how I connected with you guys all. So yeah, it would have to be something like that, where you can be intimate, where you can like really get intimate with folks and have a conversation and feel like there's that interconnectedness, that we're all woven in the fabric of life. So, you know, if you don't have a tribe yet, and you're like me and you're building your tribe, I would say keep doing what you're doing. Your intuition is what drives you. So listen to that. And if you have a drive, if you have a tribe, then I would say, like, you know, harness that energy, that guidance, that wisdom, that power, and enjoy it. You know, really enjoy one another's company, really enjoy the fact that you can bounce different things off of people. Like, that is one of the most beautiful things that we have in life, being able to communicate it with like-minded people. We may not agree, but like-minded people. So with that, I will be signing off. If you guys do have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. And bye, y'all.